Hello, and thank you for joining us today. This is Plugged In with CAVT. Welcome, Rob. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit.
Sure. My name is Rob Howitt. I'm the Northeast Regional Sales Manager for PowerSoft US.
And so, what do they do? It's for those who don't know.
So they are the preeminent Class D amplifier manufacturer in the world. They were based out of Italy, 30 years in the making. So they just celebrated their 30th anniversary. And I just recently came on board with them. And I'm greatly impressed with what they offer as far as products and services. The OEM for a number of different customers in our industry.
Cool. Okay. so tell us a little bit about what you showed us today.
Okay, so I showed the family of different product offerings, which range from commercial 70 volt all the way up to touring and stadium based amplifiers. So everything from this little job here called the Nota, which is a 2-channel 140 watt amplifier, all the way up to the touring series, which can range from 4 to 8 channels and go up to 20, 30, and respectively 40,000 watts of power in a small footprint, be it half a rack space or single rack space unit.
So with PowerSoft OEMing and you also have your products, why should the market pay more attention to you? What are some uniqueness that PowerSoft might have that others don't?
I think what we have collectively across the family products is the uniformity as far as power handling. Again, I like to say we carry an incredible amount of power in a small footprint based upon their ability to diffuse power or dispense with power and keep everything within the confines of a small half rack space unit, single rack space unit. I feel like competitively speaking, it's a price performance consideration for us. We can provide power in that small setting as opposed to our competitors, where you would probably literally have to put 2, 3, 4 amplifiers to equal what we do in one rack space unit. I think that there's an inclination to look at PowerSoft as just being a stadium or touring amplifier, like almost like lighting a cigarette with a flamethrower, are fully vested in getting into the commercial 70 volt space and into those verticals, be it retail, hospitality, higher education, corporate AV. And we do have the capacity and the family of products to do that.
Well, that's great. I think you had two very unique features that I think PowerSoft has had in their amplifiers for years. I think with the power sharing features, which for those who don't know is
power sharing. Just think of it this way, having like a reservoir power. So you have to take power and go from different zones with that. Typically, you would have to do that in an analog fashion, but now with power sharing, you can do that via DSP or electronically. So you do have a reservoir of power. So say if you're in a bar restaurant situation where you're tapping a speaker at 30 watts per channel at the bar to get over the din at the bar. Conversely, if you're going into the common areas or into, say, the bathrooms, you want to tap the speaker at maybe half a watt or a watt. The DSP understands and knows to push the power where it is. So if it's at 30 watts, it will adequately align that type of power there. And conversely, it will go into the common areas and adequately give whatever the power setting there is. So
most amplifiers are rated at X number of watts per channel. If you only need 25 of the 100 watts per channel, that extra 75 watts can be used on another channel on your amplifier.
Absolutely.
So that's where the power sharing into. You're not wasting all of that power on one channel. You actually get to pull it and use it somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it too. And that's the ease of operation because it's done electronically. Also with our amplifiers, with a push of a button, say on this particular model, you can set your high pass filter, you can set your EQ, you can set your volume control, et cetera, et cetera. And again, we're trying to make it as intuitive as possible for the integrator.
And I think the other thing that you also mentioned was the lack of needing to lose channels.
Right.
As you go from 8 ohms, 4 ohms to 70 volt, you're still gaining, you still have all 8. You're not bridging channels to make that distribution happen.
Right. And the uniformity amongst all the families of products via our switch mode technology. To your point, I worked for a company at one point in time where if I went from low Z or 8 ohm to high Z 70 volt, you would have to bridge 2 amp channels. You'd end up losing half your amp channel. So if you had an 8 channel amp, now you're down to 4 channels, and it would also have your power handling as well. we don't run into that pitfall as far as what we do. Uniformly, we have power sharing across all family lines, and we also have that switch mode technology that works across all family lines as well. So it makes it very intuitive. It makes it very useful. And also, you're not spending additional funds on additional channels of amplification. You can just work within the confines of the half rack space unit, single rack. And if you get into the more powerful families of products, possibly a 2-rack space unit.
Okay.
But so you can conceivably do more with 1 rack space unit as opposed to our competitors where you'd have to do 3 or 4 or 5 rack space units.
Okay. Do you have one last note for folks that are tuning in?
I would say that there's a misconception, obviously, about PowerSoft as being strictly a stadium or touring amplifier. But I feel that with the advent of our newer products, be it the Nota, the Mezzo, and the Canale, we fit right in with the commercial 70-volt space. And I would encourage all of our integrators to take a look at the product. And I would say that we're trying to dissuade the misconception of, yes, we can do touring, we can do stadium, we can do theme parks, but we can also do higher education, we can do corporate AV, we can do the retail spaces. So I'm here to say, hey, we're here, we're PowerSoft, and we can compete at any level and whatever you need as far as the product offerings.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us, and appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who's watching the video. If you want to learn more about PowerSoft and some of their unique offerings, please reach out to CAVT.